Would you like a drink, monsieur? Or missoir? Whatever the word is in French. Don't take it! I might have put something into it. Imagine you live with a person as roommates, and they offer you a drink every time their friends come. And you're like, alright, nice drink. I'm gonna go do my homework while you and your friends are chilling. But all of a sudden you turn quite sleepy. Now that can happen, of course, but it happens now every single time. Isn't that suspicious that it happens every single time? That is quite suspicious, yeah. That's quite weird, because that does make a whole lot of sense. Well, your roommate has been drugging you. Isn't that nice? Lovely. I love drugging people. I understand it completely. I always drug the people that I'm with. I mean, I offer you a drink. There's like 15 different substances in it, like at every moment, right? Even my faucet at home, I have installed a little drugging device that I flick a switch, and then the drink that gets made is drugged, right? So I flick it off when I need to drink, and then I fill up the glass for someone else, and I flick it on, and boom, it's drugged. It's just something I personally like to do. It's my hobby, so please don't criticize me for it, because it's just people are allowed to have hobbies, right? We're gonna read the story about how a girl was drugged by her roommate a lot of times for really dumb reasons. I live on campus. At the beginning of this year, I was sorted into a dorm and had no idea who my dorm mate was. Immediately, I was put off by her. She leaves her messes everywhere around the already small dorm, and her side of the room is genuinely disgusting. My college does room checks every few weeks, and she somehow cleans it up just before they come around, which irritates me, but I haven't said anything and tried to be nice and friendly. She's a very social person and has a ton of friends. I don't mind that she brings them over, because a lot of the time I just put my AirPods in and tune their conversations out. Sometimes I'll talk to the people she brings over and get into conversation, which she seems to get upset about but doesn't say anything. That doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, because wouldn't you want to be social with people if you're so-called a social person? Would you want to have more people to be social with? What's the big deal? You know, and that could be a weird assumption, like, what do you mean she gets upset about that? How do you know? But we do know because of what the roommate does. But like, this already sounds like a horrible scenario. Not in a horrible as in, oh, life is ending, but just as really annoying scenario. Because like, just clean up after yourself. I feel like it's so stupid that you live with someone, or you have to live with someone basically, who just doesn't clean up. And then it's considered rude when you say it, because it's like, oh, but you should mind your own business. But it's like, I'm living here as well, and shouldn't we set up some rules about how to keep this place clean and alive and stuff, so no mold starts growing or stuff. I don't know, I would just get super frustrated, because it's like, you live together, so you should get some rules and like agreements established from the start. Isn't that the first thing you do when you move in with someone? Is that like the most normal thing? Isn't that like the most normal thing? Isn't that the most common? I feel like that should be the most common. Around a month-ish ago, she started making random drinks for me to try, and said her new fixation is mixing stuff together to make new drinks. Juices, sparkling water, etc. And I found it fun. She'd always use the excuse that because her friends are coming over, she's making drinks for all of them. So she'd offer to make me one as well, which is why I always said yes out of courtesy. Literally 45 minutes into their hangout and I'm passed out. I'd wake up hours later, confused and disoriented, with her friends being gone and her either sleeping or doing homework. I'd ask her when and how I fall asleep, and she'd just shrug and smile. I don't know why, but the image I get in my head is not like, I don't know, must have been tired or something, you know? That's not what I'm imagining. I imagine the serial killer eyes. I don't know, you fell asleep. That's kind of strange, is it not? It must be the wind. Sorry you had to see that. I'm sorry about that. Eventually, it got to the point where every time her friends came over, I'd fall asleep and waste hours of valuable homework and study time. I was always so groggy and exhausted that it started affecting my grades. I have to say, your friend could use some lessons from the types of Bill Cosby or something. Because if you do it this often, the human brain is designed, like, it's good at recognizing patterns, right? Not always, but I mean, in general, at least I think so. I don't know what I'm talking about, actually. But patterns, right? Pattern moments. So we see pattern moments, and we're like, yo, it happens every time when the friends come over, and I drink a drink of yours. What's going on with that drink of yours? See how that's a pattern moment? Not good. I mean, it is good that she's stupid. That's right. I mean, you have to be stupid to drug your roommate because you want some peace and quiet with your friends or something. Or it was jealousy? Was it jealousy? We don't know. I don't care to know. She's just nuts. That's all we need to know. But like, what do you expect to happen? If you do it every time, right? That's a pattern moment. Pattern moment. Remember that, pattern moment. Put that into your vocabulary, pattern moment. Every time you hear pattern, you're like, hey, I heard that someone. Pattern moment! It's here! A couple days ago, she offered me a drink as always. However, this time I declined it because I just wanted to focus and I had a huge project for one of my classes that I had to work on. And I already had a coffee next to me that I bought myself earlier that day. She looked genuinely offended and kept bugging me about drinking it. Eventually, I just got fed up and pressed her about why she wanted me to drink it so bad. She cracked after like 5 minutes of me pressing and told me that she's been slipping melatonin. Literally still have no idea what exactly she was giving to me. Well, I can tell you right now, it's not melatonin. I'll explain to you why in a second. Like pills into my drinks to knock me out so she could hang with her friends without me being awake or talk or listen to them. Or in her words, hang out with my friends in peace. She said it so nonchalantly that she's been literally slipping pills into my drinks that I feel like I'm going crazy. I don't even know what to do now. Well, first of all, your roommate is nuts. How can you actually come to the conclusion that that is the right thing to do? Like, okay, I don't really like it when my roommate hangs out with my friends or talks to my friends for some reason. That still doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. But then the first thing you do is try to put pills in their drinks. That's your next move. That's the next logical step in this problem, right? That's the next logical step. First of all, I totally understand as a hobbyist drugger myself, but as in not that part of myself and actually the moral part of myself, that's crazy. Also, I'll explain to you why it's not melatonin, because I'm an avid melatonin taker, right? My brain is kind of messed up. I mean, you could probably tell, right? But my brain doesn't quite produce melatonin the way it should. After doctor moments, right? Doctor said like, yo, that's not really how it went, but look, doctor, right? I didn't just do it out of myself, doctor. So I take it every single night. And recently I've been trying to be super consistent and go to bed at like the exact same time, because I heard that's really, really good for quality of sleep. Because my quality of sleep has never been so very good. I mean, I got bags under my, I don't know if that's related, but I've always had them. And before I started taking melatonin, dude, I was basically sleeping like the lightest sleep you could ever have every single night. So, melatonin moments. Very nice. So, I started taking melatonin as I started sleeping better. So, very cool. Let me explain to you what the effect of melatonin is precisely, right? For me, at least. So, I take melatonin and then I get tired. And then I'm like, yeah, okay, let's go to sleep. So here's what I do if I take melatonin, but I just skip it, because that just happens sometimes. Maybe I'm on my phone, or maybe I was doing something else, or I decided, okay, let's take the melatonin, but then I was like, oh, I need to do something else first. And then it took a little longer, right? It feels like your body naturally creating melatonin in your brain, being like, oh, I'm kind of tired now, I should probably go to sleep, right? You know how you feel that every night at some point? We all know how it feels to have the tired wave at an appropriate time where you could probably sleep. And I'm not talking about the energy dip at like noon or something. I'm talking about the at night. So that's exactly how it feels to take melatonin. So I take the pill, then I go lie in bed. Maybe I read my Bible and I do some prayer and I just hang around on my phone, right? And then I feel like, oof, now it's kicking in, alright, now I can go to sleep. And then I sleep quite fast. So because I take the pill, I can time I'm tired enough moment now really good, because it takes about 50 minutes. So I take it 50 minutes before I want to go to sleep. Then at the time I want to go to sleep, I get tired. You see how that kind of works? So if it's melatonin, you would just get tired and you'd be like, whoa, I should probably take some like caffeine or something, or wow, I'm feeling kind of tired. But that's kind of where that's, because you can skip your melatonin moments. So you have not slept the night once, like you've gone all night to go to the next day. You've not slept nights, you know, that's happened to you surely, right? So you can do that with melatonin because it's not so strong. It's not strong like that. Like I could skip the melatonin sleepiness if I wanted to, pretty easily. So I don't believe that it was melatonin, because there's no way you just knock out. I don't knock out for melatonin. Nobody does, because it's a natural occurring substance in your brain. You don't just get knocked out from melatonin. She's putting something else in there. I'm sure of it. So that's quite a big elaborate explanation with a lot of words. I probably could have put that very much more concisely and understandable. But like, look, this is not my native language, alright? So I'm not so very good at speaking. coherent sentences, because I kind of have to not translate, but it doesn't come as naturally to say every word in every sentence that makes the most sense. I hope that makes sense. So yeah, I would say go to the police, or at least to someone, or kill your roommate. That's also an option. I mean, if she's going as drastic as to drug you for something so simple, you can just kill her, right? Because you're matching her energy. But yeah, that was quite crazy. So thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate you being here. I hope this situation gets resolved, but I'm kind of thinking that it's fake. I'm not trying to diminish if it's actually true, because it very much could be. But I'm also thinking that this is probably fake. Just because it's Reddit. And there's a lot of fake posts on Reddit. So yeah, like I said, thank you for watching. Jesus Christ is Lord. And let's get out of here. Ignore the voice crack.